presence. Max was doing this. But while they were doing their stuff, Evil Max was training lackeys. And these lackeys were trained to be the greatest lackeys of all time. And after all that, Evil Max raised an army for the Great War. Anyway, just to summarize, while in the same time Max was preventing something from happening, he knew what would happen. He knew he would die in the future. But after all this time, he technically was so good at what he did, no one understood what he was capable of. But after a while, he became so good at his job that he himself started realizing that he was changing. But after a while of change, they built a bunker. Comical and Max built a bunker. Give me a minute, let me take my breath. They built a bunker and named it Project Shadow. And not only that, it had a power so great, not even I understood it, the narrator. But anyway, after all this time, Max Shut up! I'm trying to narrate a story! And after a while, they built Project Shadow. They understood what their purpose was. Then you see them in the balcony. Then an incredible, after all, Scientist Bob and Scientist Ford killed Scientist Bob. Put the accent into it, me. Scientist Bob. Well, you didn't know, Scientist Bob was a really smart scientist with idiotic ideas. And after a while, Scientist Ford wanted to kill Max, the second strongest being in all existence. Max is so good at what he did, no one comprehended what he was trying to do. And after a while, no one knew. After a while, they were sitting in the balcony because Scientist Bob, after killing Scientist Forge, shot Scientist Forge in the head, and Scientist Forge gutted him. But Scientist Bob was still alive because Technoblade had a brother, Technopig, and Technopig had way more powers than Technoblade. He was so good at what he did, Technopig legit brought back Scientist Bob from the dead. And after a while, he had a narrative saying that a war was coming. Too great, too soon to be settled. And after a while, they would understand what they meant. Far across the sea, in an island far away. Nothing more than trespasses. Nothing more than dying seas. Anyway, give me a minute. I'll be right back. And after a while, they were seen in a very tall building of the island known as Millionaire Mansions. And after a while, these characters would realize. Then Evil Max met Max. And after Evil Max met Max, he told his men to fire. Well, what Evil Max did not know is that Max told Comical and Cosmical, Axe and himself to train lackeys the ways of the light, since he knew the people from Dark Island were scared of light magic. After a while, he was known as the Deadliest. Not only that, he was so good at training his fellows, he made them do the most difficult of tasks. These tasks were like running an entire obstacle course in 3 seconds. They did so. They did not fill their purpose of saving the entire world. And after a while, they trained their lackeys and they learned the ways of the light. And not only that, he's so good at what he... Go back to my favorite song. Not only that, this epic war would have composed of different fights that you guys don't know about. And these fights would be composed of army versus army. And not only that, it would be the things you don't understand what I'm trying to say is that the battles are composed of types of different battles, such as Max versus Evil Max, Evil Comical versus Evil Comical, Evil Cosmical versus Evil versus Good Cosmical. It's technically good versus evil, the OP characters. And not only that, he went with the time of space continuum. Max and Evil Max had an epic battle. They had clashes. They clashed after clash after clash after clash. They would not return. They had clashes. Not only that, Max called in his favorite scythe, the Scythe of Reality, or the Scythe of Ouroboros. As you guys know, the Scythe of Ouroboros allows them to become so that allows someone to tear reality and go through other time-space continuums, something they've never found. My personal narrative to my story is the characters I make. Well, in the meanwhile, they would make insults about each other. The reason you're still here is because I spared you that one day. No, you're wrong. The reason I'm still here is because I survived death. And the reason you're so strong is because of that scythe. I mean, how did you get so strong, huh? By making my own personalized super weapon. Super weapons. And these super weapons were composed of power. Something you don't have, Max. So what does that make you, Abyss? You're nothing compared to me. And all you can do is just name talk, since you cannot really hurt me. So tell me, how's life been going? Don't talk to me. You're as useless as a bee. Huh. I see you still have disrespect after all I've done, huh? Darn straight, you don't have time. I don't have time for you. They would clash and clash, throw beams after beams of rays, light versus dark. The fight would be so epic that they would need to be... Anyway, after a while, Max would realize how OP he would become. But they both trained in a time shaper, something that allows them to get 2 days worth of done in a time shaper. Every hour was 2 days. And after all these time, Max would become so powerful. And these people would be known as heroes. I can talk about the others. Max Comical and Evil Comical would be throwing fireballs. at each other, even make running so fast that they make hurricanes. And all this time was known as nothing.
I'll take the boat.
I'll go. And all this time was known for them fighting. Evil Comical made a giant fire tornado while in the ocean. They had swords to prevent them from turning into magma inside the ocean. And after all the time they've had, not only that, it's known as they were the most powerful group in the world. So Evil Max tried hitting Comical, but Max got in the way and hit him back to their own fights. They would continue fighting with these epic bursts of rays of energy from the sun. But they were getting low on stamina, so they used their all. Since they couldn't find each other and end, they used their final moves. And these final moves were so OP that they could one-shot the Earth. And after all this time and space of talking and talking, I have more to talk about. Well, they shot this one beam which they clashed. And after clashing, they continue clashing. Fish. And not only this, the fight would continue until they used their final attack, which, interesting enough, made a giant ball of fire that almost represented the sun somehow. But it exploded, and they were fighting now, which wasn't really that much of a big explosion, which luckily Max put a force field to contain the blast to save Earth. And after all those times that Max saved the Earth, they would have to succumb to their senses, which they both were passed out. But Comical regenerated all his stamina quickly, like Max taught him how to do. And not only this would help them learn some new stuff, such as quick regeneration. And not only this would succumb to Comical throwing Evil Comical to water, turning him into magma because he took away his sword. It was down to Cosmical, Axe, and Max, because Max told Comical to go to the bunker. So let's talk about the Cosmical fight. The girls were fighting until they were unable to move. Yes, it's possible. They moved so fast that they left after images. Yes, after images. These images talked a lot of what we did. And all this time ago, I thought after images were just replicas of you. It was actually a thought of mine. And after all those times of making the episodes, this is the final grand finale. And this grand finale was so special that they don't even understand what they're coming up against. And not only that, being who you are today, how did you think Max survived all those years back? Well, they were fighting, leaving after images, and heck, using fire beams and lots of other fire powers that I don't know of, which Max told me. Do you mean bursts of ray? Yeah, whatever that is. And after all this time, they would be known as heroes. But these heroes were not real heroes. Because the origin of Evil Max is tragic. Who the heck invited you? You're an ad? Oh my god. Shut up. I'm trying to analyze what I've been doing the last week. And not only this, oh my god, this man is gonna ruin my channel. World is finished. Okay, the world is finished. Stand back, I have a hatchet. Okay. While they were fighting and causing this epic, catastrophic events, they were gonna succumb to their weaknesses, but not really. They fought and fought and fought so long that they became mercenaries. Well, they were.
Plant explosives on the boat. The rest of us will lay down covering fire. Please, nothing else.
Ano? Ahora voy a ayudar esta parte afuera. While they were fighting, they would leave bursts of rays, and they would fight even up to the sun. How are they not evaporized? I don't know. I think they're gods. I don't know. They're not real gods. This sake is made from demigods' purposes, and yeah. This video was actually the roleplay was sort of to support the claim of God in his Bible, because Max is stronger than every god except God himself, you know. You're just gonna stand there and let it happen. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, after all this time, Cosmical came out on top, and Comical told her the same thing Max told him, to go to the bunker, or to follow him to a bunker. And after realizing something, Max is trying to do something. He's planned it out millions of times before it got in motion. I love how this is going, but anyway, yeah. After all this time, how deadly am I don't know. While this is happening, while you see me play some zombie games, you get an incredible failure. Oh, who the heck invited you? I'm near dead. But anyway, let's continue talking about my favorite. They would continue fighting and fighting. Cosmical killed, used her strongest attack, which was a legit miniature sun. I don't know how she did it, but she did it. And it takes more than that to kill these people. Just to let you know, they're legit. They're not gods, but they're strong. They're like Saitama, but evolved. And after all this time, it was proven that she used a miniature sun, which but after all, Max is proven to be quite the hefty worker. Anyway.
This is Hope One. If you're all quite
We're on a time limit. I'll take this. Anyway, they were fighting and fighting until Cosmical gave up and used her strongest attack. And that strongest attack was a little too strong and almost obliterated the Earth until Max put a force field which saved the Earth again. Then it was down to Axe and Axe because Axe killed her version and she's a straight up badass when throwing a hatchet, which they used light beams and they died. Well, let me continue explaining what I'm trying to think of. But anyway, their fight was so epic, they made the world legit shake. They were fighting for so long that even the Great Beyond had to do something about it, which they sent Void, which Void is right now in a stasis paralysis, whatever that is. But anyway, after fighting for so long, Axe used her strongest move, which took out the other Axis, evil Axis, healing factor, and threw her to the sun and then into a black hole. Don't ask questions. I don't know what's happening either. That's just, it sounds like chaos, because it is chaos. But anyway, with Max versus Evil Max, let's continue our little fight. They were fighting and fighting and fighting. Max would sweep Evil Max and Evil Max would headbutt Max. They would continue fighting and fighting until they couldn't even stand up. Until they used their healing factors and continued fighting and fighting. Until Max had to do what he had to do. He went 100%, which he didn't tell something about it. He said if he didn't tell this to Comical, if he ever reaches 100%, he not only is he 3 times stronger, but he dies after using his 100%. And then he uses the Omni Blade of Justice and swings his hand so fast that it leaves a very slice that erases all evil except for Evil Max because he has a healing factor, a godlike one. But anyway, after that, Max dies, and they thought Evil Max is dead, but he's still alive. Evil Comical befriended Good Comical, and they were friends until Evil Max came by, saying that he indeed is still alive. But in reality, he did die. He just came back because he absorbed Max in the Great Between. And the Between is an area where you're not dead nor alive. You're both. But after all this time, he would explain that his powers are being reduced, meaning he cannot use them. After some great torture, Max, even Evil Max, said something to Comical which was heartwarming. He has Comical's mother, which he's indeed not the father of Comical, which he explained, but has his mom under hostage. And he showed Comical a hologram about it. So you don't believe me? Of course I don't. Why would I believe the sins of evil? Well, let me tell you, I have your mother under hostage. I don't believe you. Well, here's a hologram. So, have you found Comical? I need more time. There's no time to explain this, but I need more time. More time you don't have, because the next time you better have found him, or else you're dead. Comical, if you're seeing this, I know your mom. I know you. I had pleasure killing your clan. And after all this time, he would have been so heart-struck that he took the hologram and gave Evil Max a home. Because Evil Max escaped with an invisibility potion to another house, and then came back and gave him Comical gave him a new house. And sort of, he told Comical another thing. Max is not dead. Because Comical was in depression at the point when Max died, because Max was a father figure to Comical. And after all this time, that's where I've been. Congratulations! Thank you for meeting me in the Great War. I hope you all have a pleasant day. Goodbye.